Hello everyone and welcome back to more Metal Gear Solid, the board game, and we're away from VR this time, we're back to the main campaign. We're up to Chapter 5, Ambush, which going on from the Revolver Ocelot boss fight is another boss fight, so no sneaking this time. It's a straight up brawl between Snake and a tank, specifically being driven by Vulcan Raven, who we'll see more of later in the game. But just as Snake enters the snowfield, which is bridging two buildings of the facility, he gets a mysterious codec call that warns him about the tank. He asks who it is, and the person just replies, "Oh, just a fan." So he goes out to meet the tank anyway, and thankfully, because we haven't found any grenades, or as far as I'm aware had the ability to find grenades, the mission, the boss fight, gives us grenades to use, since that's the main mechanic for beating him. So with that, you can see the comic page of him prepping to fight us here, and then after that it's just the rules for how it works. And it can be for Snake or Merrill. We're just using Snake, which will affect his total HP, but beyond that the fail states are we just die. So that's how it's going to be. So the tank with Vulcan Raven inside it, it's got an AI deck of 6 cards, I think it is, similar to Ocelot. You don't take any of them out. I've already shuffled them, but I will do it again on camera just to prove I have. And he has a defense of 4, he rolls 2 black dice for attack, and because we're using just Snake, he has a pretty massive 20 health. He has special rules. Armoured vehicle tank. The tank is considered a figure facing all directions, i.e. our sneak attack doesn't do extra damage to him. The tank can only be damaged by missiles, mines and grenades. For each movement arrow on a boss's card, the tank moves in that direction a number of spaces equal to the arrow's number. If it reaches the edge of the map, it turns around and goes back in the opposite direction. If you get run over by the tank, you take 1 point of damage. And then finally, grenades. We get given a grenade card to cover up Snake's normal abilities here. It starts with 2 grenades, which we have here. When a grenade lands on a tank space, deal damage to the tank based on the table below, which is this table here. A direct hit is 3 damage, for instance. You reveal the top card of his boss deck, and it will have bonus damage plus a number. The number is sometimes 0, but that is a chance to do more damage to him. So we will only get the 2, as I said, so we have to replenish our grenades as we fight, which is one of the abilities on here. For an action, we can raid a grenade crate. There's 4 of them on each corner of the battlefield, and it costs 1 action to chuck a grenade. To chuck a grenade, you roll 2 dice, and you choose one of them to be one direction you've thrown them, and one to be the other. So for instance, we could throw a grenade 4 away from Snake, and 5 either left or right, or we could throw it 5, and then 4 left or right. That's essentially just what all that text there is describing. So it is possible to miss as well. And for setup, I'm bringing C4 to hopefully do some extra damage to the tank. It is an explosive, so it should count. I think it's classed as a mine specifically. But either way, I'm bringing 2 rations, because we have access to them, and I figure we're going to need the health. So I think that covers everything, and now we're ready to start the fight. This video is sponsored by Noble Knight Games. Check out the video description below for an affiliate link that will take you through to their store, and it will help me out as well. Thanks. So as we begin the fight in the snowfields, here are the locations for the grenade reloads. So we are going to want to go to them, but obviously to start the fight, we are going to chuck a grenade at the tank facing down. We also probably don't want to end in the same column as him, but hey, we'll see how it goes. So a 3 and a 2, that's literally perfect, because we can throw it, well, get the symbol, 1, 2, 3, oh no, 1, 2, can I do this better? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. No, we have to go 3 and 2. At best I could make it a 1, so I could go 1, 2 and 1. That would hit the tank for 1 base damage. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and there's no way to avoid it being a 1, unfortunately. If only we'd rolled a 1. But oh well. I could re-roll it, but I'm not going to. We'll take the hit. It hits the tank right there on the damage thing. That is 1 damage, but it might be more than that. Oh, plus 2. We actually did 3. That's pretty good. Now, do I put this on the bottom of the deck or the top of the deck? Let's see. After the grenade is hit, then return the card to the bottom of the deck. So there's an example of how he could attack, though he does attack out the sides as well. Okay, so on the bottom of the deck, that's 1 action and 1 grenade gone. We will immediately chuck the other one. Eventually I'll combine the damage and put it on his card, but I'm just keeping track of what I've done so far. A 4 and a 1. Well, I could make it a 4 and a 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Nope, don't want to be doing that. I could make it a 2 and a 1. 1, 2 and a 1. Or we're going to have to keep it as a 4. Either I can't avoid it just being a 1 again, unfortunately. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and a 1. It lands at the back of the tank. That's 1 base damage plus nothing. Unlucky. So that's a total of 4 damage, and I'm out of grenades. He's likely to move forwards. So as my second last action, I'm going to pop down one of my C4 right there. And then we have 1 action left because I threw 2 grenades. I placed down C4. I'm going to dash for 1, 2 and get out of that row just in case that's where he's attacking. And that's it for my turn. So I'll move this 4 damage onto the tank's card. Move this other grenade because it's gone, and we'll draw his actual first AI. So we have to do his movement first, and I'm guessing, well, the movement is written with him facing that way, so I presume it would mean moving this way then. I'm going to do it that this is the orientation because that's how it is in the book as well, and it shows the tank facing down that way. So 1, 2, 3 that way, and then 1, 2, 3 that way, and then he can't go that way, so he goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So he basically ended up where he was, but further back. He fires straight down. Attack the furthest player sharing a column with the tank and move 3 spaces away from the tank. And move them 3 spaces away from the tank. And if unable to do so, move as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage. And grenade bonus damage would have been 1. So I presume you do this from top to bottom, so he moves, and then it comes down to this. If unable to do so, move as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage. As many spaces as possible would be whoop, right here. I hope I'm doing that right. Every other card in the game is from top to bottom, so I presume you do that movement, and it isn't a case of you do the attack then the move, because that would be, that would make sense. I'll just go double check if there's anything in his boss info to specify. There is no further information available, so it's a case of I hope I did it right. We will dash, sneak, replenish our 2 grenades, and yeah, I'll chuck one, I think. I'm going to be risky. Looking for not super high numbers. Well, unfortunately. So, if we reduce that to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Nope, we're still going to miss the tank. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Nah, no matter which way you cut it, it's a miss. So we'll just take that miss. I'm not going to use any of my focus tokens, and we'll end our turn there. I'm hoping he's going to end up next to this or on this C4, but I guess we'll see. So again, I'm going to do the movement first. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3 this way. 1, 2, 3 this way. Tries to go this way and then go 1, 2, 3. He actually has ended up 1, 2, 3. Yeah, he has ended up right next to the C4, which is lucky for us. Attack the furthest player sharing a column with the tank and then move them 3 spaces away from the tank. If unable to do so, move as many squares as possible and deal +1 damage. So again, I think that's because in the game the tank rams you if it can't get a shot with the cannon. So I presume why that last bit is there is that, but that unfortunately means he's just ending up precisely where he ended the last turn, because that was 2 very similar cards. Yeah, we just got 2 main gun cards in a row there, so that was just the luck of the draw. So, we're chucking another grenade and hoping for lower numbers, and then I'm going to just raid 2 more. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, no, I could use Snake's reroll. I'm going to use Snake's reroll. That's literally 1 worse on each die. Okay, fair enough. Second action will be to replenish our grenades again. Third action will be to dash. Fourth action will be to dash. Because I want to try and force the tank over to the C4 here. So we have 2 grenades again, but I didn't get anything done that turn. So, treads. He is moving, boop, so it goes 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So he's right against the edge here, and then 1, 2, 3. He's all the way over there, and there's actually no attack here because he's just trying to run you over, I guess, but thankfully for us he went in the wrong direction. Well, I say thankfully for us. He's quite far away. Let's just keep going, I guess. So we'll dash for 2, dash for 2, and I'll chuck a grenade from here. 5 and a 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can I use a -2 on a 2 to make it a 0? I'm going to presume I can. So it goes in a different direction, 0, and explodes there for 1 damage plus 3 again in total. Pretty good. So let's see, that's 3 in total, so that'd be 2. He was at 4, and now he's at 7. There we go. Alright, that was pretty good. So I dashed, I threw a grenade. And I'm going to dash again up here. And that'll end my turn. Heavy machine gun. So he's moving against the wall, but he can't. So he goes 1, 2, 3. He goes forwards 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Because if you bounce off the wall, he just goes in the opposite direction. It doesn't matter to turning him because, like, the damage for each section is mirrored. So even if he was, like, you know, for immersion, I could technically turn him that way. It doesn't change what damage is done where. Then he hits out the sides. Attack all players that share a role with the tank. I am nowhere close. So we're good there. I'm going to start my turn by throwing a grenade. No, I'm going to start this turn by exploding the C4. That's what I should do. So the C4 is an explosive, and it does have the mine keyword. And presumably... Actually, I'm not sure. Does it do the C4 damage, which is 2, or does it do damage equal to what I'm next to, which would be 1? The tank can only be damaged by missiles, mines, and grenades. Then the only other special rules are regarding the grenades, so I presume that's 2 damage. I hope that's right. Apologies if it's not. So that's him up to 9. Second action, I'm chucking my other grenade. That's no good, even if I added 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, actually, if I plus 2'd it, which I'm gonna. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kaboom! That is a 2 damage spot, plus a card. Nothing. Fair enough. That's 2 damage, so we'll turn that 5 into another 5. 4, 5, plus 1. Actually, I can turn it into a 10. So that's him up to 11 damage. So I blew up the C4, I chucked 2 grenades. We're going to sneak onto this ammo to replenish these at the top of our next turn. So the tank is moving 1, 2, 3 to the edge of a table. Back 1, 2, 3. Would hit the side and goes 1, 2, 3. So he's basically right back where he started. He shoots forwards, doesn't do anything. If unable to do so, move as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage. I just realised it doesn't specify a direction for that last part. If unable to do so, move as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage. I'm not sure how to take that as written. I'm going to presume it's forwards because that's how it works in the video game. So he's going to charge all the way down here. Alternatively, if he wants to get as close to the player as possible, he still wouldn't have hit Snake there. So hopefully that's correct. So I had a little think in between takes there before carrying on with the next turn. I've realised how you're supposed to parse the card. It's partially my fault and partially the card's fault. Let me just look at the bottom of the deck for an example. Yeah, okay, so the most recent turn. I've just realised that the second part of this is not in relation to whether or not the tank has done damage. It is in relation to whether or not the player has taken damage. So you attack the furthest player, starting in this column but it's marked, and then you move the player that you've attacked 3 spaces away from the tank. If you're unable to do so, like you've got the player pinned against the wall or whatever, you move them as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage to them from the attack instead of, you know, the 2 black dice you would be rolling. That must be what it means. It's not well written, because you could absolutely interpret it as I did, because it's a tank AI card, so of course I'm going to assume that the second sentence begins, if unable to do so, i.e. you have not done the first part of the sentence, the tank then does the second half of the sentence. Especially when the tank has a rule for doing damage to a player they've run over. That implies to me he tries to run them over because the tank gun failed, and you're doing +1 damage with the run over attack. So it's not just on me, but I think I've worked out what it actually means. It's relating to whether or not the player can be placed. So that means he was back here before I charged him, I believe. So that's where we're going to open up this turn again. I'm not going to start over. It's not my fault that sentence is not structured well. because it can definitely be taken both ways. I might still be right, for the record. My original interpretation could be correct. I've got no idea. It's one of those rules you're going to have to wait to be FAQ'd, to be precise, or just play it the way you feel is most natural. Because he does ram you, like he does try and ram you with the tank in the video game. So either way, first action with Snake, we're going to replenish grenades. Then we're going to use 2 actions to replenish our reroll, and 1 action to replenish our -2. So the only focus token I've not got is my +2. And that's my turn. So he is moving 1, 2, 3 to the edge of the table, 1, 2, 3 to the back corner, and then 1, 2, 3. He's shooting downfield, and then this is the case where if you push someone back, so okay, I'm going to interpret it as that way. That makes slightly more sense. And he's right in the perfect position for me to start chucking grenades. Or I could blow him up with C4 again. We could go sneak for 1, place my second C4 for 2, move back for 3, and explode the C4. Kaboom. That's 2 set damage. That's not bad. Technically could have done more depending on how accurate my grenade throws were, but I'll take that precise damage. Our C4 is now done though. I don't have any more. Tank turn, and if he's shooting his side guns, we're getting hit. Nope. Well, we could still get run over actually. So he's moving 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do not attack. Okay, I won't. He's hiding in the corner. So how accurate am I feeling? We're going to use 1 action to replenish my +2. Then we're going to dash for our second action, and then I'm going to throw a grenade for my third action. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, that's off the map, which I presume is not allowed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. So we're going to have to use the 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll keep the 4. So currently the grenade is there. I'm going to use Snake's reroll. Oops, destroying the snowfield in the process. And that became a 2. I'll take the 2. So it's hitting up here. That's a base of 2 damage plus 2 damage. That's 4. We're actually almost done. So that becomes a 5. So we're up to 17. He's got 3 health left, and I have 1 action left. I'll try chucking another grenade. This could be it right here already. 4. Did I just roll the same thing again? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. It would be off the map. I'll use the -2 on the 3. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. That hits him for 1 damage. If this is +2, we win. It's +2, we win. Because that is a total of 3 damage. And he's at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So, that was very, very easy, and we're done. So it's never a good sign when you have to say after a video, how do you think the rules were meant to be interpreted? Because I'm looking at these cards again with this paragraph that has cursed us for this little short video, and if it does mean the player character in the latter half of that sentence, shouldn't it say, if unable to do so, move them as many spaces as possible and deal +1 damage? It doesn't. It just says, if unable to do it, move as many spaces as possible. So it really does sound like it was implying that's what the tank does. So maybe I was doing it right at first, and it is the tank that just kind of charges. But if it is the tank charging, does it only go straight, or does it go, left or right? Doesn't say that either. So there is absolutely a very strong argument for both interpretations of that paragraph. It 100% needs an FAQ, unfortunately. Either way, that wasn't hard at all. Didn't need rations. The grenades do a lot of damage. The cards are actually pretty generous in terms of the bonus damage. So, for doing that, we just move this out of the way again. We have defeated the tank, but part of the reason it's so easy, I think, is because after we blow this up, Vulcan Raven has survived, or has survived. He talks to Liquid, or Ocelot I think it is actually, yeah, Ocelot, over the radio, and you find out it was all a ploy. He was just kind of playing with him and wanted him to survive. And then it moves on to us infiltrating the nuclear testing facility, I think it is. Either way, we get equipment card 7 for doing that. I'm going to guess it's grenades. I swear to you I haven't looked, but given that they gave us them for the mission, yeah, okay. I would not have been surprised. So how many of them do we get? Target a space within 5 spaces, deal 2 damage to all enemies within 2 spaces in a line of sight to the space, then discard this card and it makes you go to an alert. It looks like you only get 1, which is unfortunate, but it does the same damage as C4. And it does have a codec number, 0206. I like looking these up now because they sometimes have pertinent information. 0206. I see you found some explosives. A bit late there. These are anti-personnel devices. They deal a predetermined amount of damage, therefore no dice are rolled, and is not considered an attack by effects that refer to attacks. Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's especially interesting. Does that mean Ocelot wouldn't have reacted then, because it's not classed as an attack and his reaction triggers on an attack? That's really pertinent information, if so, that should not be hidden in a codec page. Huh. When explosives are used, the source of the damage is the device itself, so you are not considered the attacker by the rules that reference an attacker. There are advantages to using explosives in the right situation. They also deal damage to a target space and surrounding spaces. Remember, they deal damage to all figures within their effective area. That includes friendlies and enemies. Needless to say, you do not want to stand too close when one detonates. If there are guards in your zone, they will be alerted to your presence. So that also implies that if there were no guards in your space, well, 1, why are you exploding a grenade? But 2, it does tell you to put your alert down, but that blurb implies you don't if there's no enemies in your zone. So either way, we have a singular grenade. It costs 1 to throw it, and it's for doing a murder. So that gets added to our equipment, and next time, assuming we stick with the campaign and don't go back to the VR missions, we will be doing another sneaking mission. And going together through this story, guessing what some of the rules mean as we go, but still having a lot of fun, genuinely. It is just really unfortunate that the clarity the rules needed is not there, or if it is, it's certainly not laid out in a easily digestible package, let's say. Short one, but hey, some of those VR missions were long. Hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching. Please do continue supporting the series, and I will see you next time for either a VR mission or Stage 6. Until then, ta for now.